Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to cover the QA automation interview questions and answers which are asked at Wipro company. So we will be covering technical software testing questions, and then we have got HR interview questions as well. So we will also cover the explanation, the answers of the questions. So let us start with a few of the topmost asked interview questions. Difference between abstract class and interface. So as we all know, abstract class can have abstract and non-abstract methods, while interface can have only abstract methods. Abstract class can have final, non-final, static and non-static variables, while interface has only static and final variables. Now, if we see for the interface, it supports multiple inheritance, while abstract class does not supports, and the keyword extends is used while in interface implements is used. So this is a small example, public abstract class shape, and we have defined a method void draw, abstract void draw, and this is for interface, public interface drawable and void draw. Okay, so next question is, why do you need weights in Selenium? So generally this is, is asked in an interview. It can also be asked like, which are the two types of weights, and which weight would you prefer to use in your Selenium automation script, or how do you use weights in Selenium? So these are the various, questions, types of questions that can come, but the answer is same. They want to know about the various weights like implicit weight, explicit weight, fluent weight. So over here, first of all, let us understand why do we need weights in Selenium. Now, most of the web applications are developed using Ajax and JavaScript. So whenever a page is loaded by the browser, the elements which we want to interact on, which the automation script would run and perform some action on them, would take some time, would take their own time to get appear on the screen, to get visible on the screen. So there is some specific for that particular time intervals we have to wait. Okay, so now if we don't wait, then what would happen? Then element not visible exception would get displayed. Okay, so that is why we are actually putting waits, so we can avoid this problem. Now there are different types of weights. Implicit weight is there, explicit weight is there. Then they might also ask you that which is the most widely used weights among implicit, explicit and fluent weights. So you can tell the most widely used weights are implicit and explicit weights, and fluent weights are not preferable for real-time projects. And thread.sleep is not at all recommended because it is a hard-coded weight, right? So this is how you can answer this question. Okay. Now driver.manage.timeouts, how methods are calling. So they want to understand the sequence. So the flow, the calling is happening from left to right. Okay. Now driver is an instance of concrete class which implements WebDriver interface, while manage method returns an option interface referred to as WebDriver options. So when you type driver.manage, you can get various lists of methods that you can access within ahead of it. And timeout is, again, implicit, explicit or fluent timeout actions. So they wanted to understand what each and every word or each and every method stands out for. What is the significance of each and everything in this line? Collections in Java. The collection in Java is a framework that provides an architecture to store and manipulate the group of objects. All the operations that you perform on data, such as searching, sorting, insertion, manipulation, deletion, etc., can be achieved by Java collections. Then we have got various, Java collection framework and various interfaces in that, such as set is there, list, queue, and there are various classes as well, like array list is there, linked hash set is there, priority queue is there, linked list is there, tree set. So this is also their favorite question. Next interview question is, what are throws and finally keyword in exception handling? Okay, it is handling. Finally means the finally block is used to execute the important code of the program. It is executed whether an exception is handled or not. While throw is used to throw an exception, and throws keyword is used to declare exceptions. It does not throw an exception. Okay, so this is a very thin line of difference between all the three keywords. So don't get confused in this. So as So if you want, I can repeat. Finally is, finally is used to execute the important code of the program, and it is executed whether an exception is handled or not. While throws is used to declare exceptions, it does not throw an exception. It specifies that there may occur an exception in the method. Okay. Now, what is runtime polymorphism? So now they can ask you about polymorphism, or they can also ask you about dynamic method. Both are same, and not only on this oops concepts, but they can also ask you questions on encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance. So inheritance we saw earlier as well. There were some topic of abstract class and interface, so these oops concepts, can you have to be very clear on these oops concepts, because these can be asked in not only Wipro interview, but they might be asked in Amazon interface, Amazon, Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, HCL Technologies, and all the MNC companies are giving priority to oops concepts, because generally whenever they want to hire an automation engineer, automation QA guy, so his or her oops concept should be clear, so that they can understand the framework and they can use the framework in that sense. Now, what is runtime polymorphism? So runtime polymorphism, it is a process in which a call to an overridden method is resolved at runtime. Okay, so in this process, an overridden method is called through the reference variable of a superclass. Now they might ask you the example also. So this is a very basic example you can take over there. um, you can see there are four classes in defined over here. One is class animal, and in that they have defined one function eat, and system.out.println eating. Now there is one class which extends this animal. This class dog extends animal, and it would again use the same method. And then there is class cat, which again extends the same animal class. Class lion also extends the same animal class. Now at the end, we have created one class that is test polymorphism 3, in which we are creating one main method, and we will call the different methods using the object that we are creating. So a dot eat, a dot eat, a dot eat. You can see over here, it is printed, it is mentioned over here 3 times. Okay, so what would be the output of this program? Output of the program would be these lines: eating, eating bread, eating red, eating meat. Okay, so all these would be the output of the program. Now, what are constructors in Java? Apart from constructors, they can also ask you what are the types of constructors. Okay, so let us first understand what are constructors in Java. So constructors are used to initialize the object's state. Like methods, a constructor also contains collection of statements. And constructor of a class, so these are the rules. Constructor of a class must have same name as the class name in which it resides. A constructor in Java cannot be abstract, final, static, and synchronized. So you can take this example. Class animal is one of the class which is defined over here, and within that it is animal. So animal is a constructor actually, and in that we are writing system.out.println Wipro interview. Okay, so you can see the name of the class and constructor is same. Okay, and again, as we saw, a constructor also contains collection of statements, and then we have got SOP Wipro interview over here. So this is one of the example you can give over there. If they ask you what are types, then again you can explain types as well. Now, what is exception hierarchy in Java? So exception classes are subtypes of java.lang.exception class. The exception class is a subclass of throwable class. Now, other than exception class, there is also another subclass called error, which is again derived from the throwable class. An exception class has two main subclasses. One is IO exception class and runtime exception class. Now over here we can also continue and tell them about errors. Now if they further ask you what is the example of errors that is generated during runtime environment, so you can also take an example of errors like JVM when it goes out of memory, right? So programs cannot recover from such errors. Now over here we were explaining them. Other than the exception class, there is another subclass called error, which is derived from the throwable class. So you can get question what is error. So you can answer in this way. Errors are abnormal conditions that happen in case of severe failures. Okay, these are not handled by the Java programs. And errors are generated to indicate errors generated by the runtime environment. So we have this example, JVM going out of memory. Okay, this is a hot favorite question. What are the types of test automation framework? So one is modular testing framework, data-driven testing framework, keyword-driven testing framework, hybrid-driven testing framework, then behavior-driven development framework. Okay, now they might ask you the question that which of the framework are you familiar with, or in your organization, which framework has been adopted. So you can explain as per your organization premises, but also keep knowledge along with you. If you are a fresher, then keep knowledge along with you for all these types of frameworks, like what actually they are doing, what is the significance of using that particular framework, what is the pros and cons of using those frameworks. Okay, so this would help you to answer in a better and a more clarity manner. Now, have you created any framework? Now, if you are a beginner, then don't ever tell that you know I have created the framework, because they know if you are a fresher or if you are having a experience of 6 months, so you cannot create a framework. It is not possible for you to create a framework, right? So there would be some organization in which you are hired and you will be given a framework that is already been created by your test leads or test managers or senior tech lead. Okay, then you can tell, I did not get a chance to create a framework, so I have used the framework which is already available. Now if you are an experienced tester, then and if you have created the framework, then definitely you should be proud and you should tell, yes, I have created a framework. If you are an experienced tester and if you haven't created the framework, then you can tell, no, but was involved in the creation of the framework. So together as a team, we have designed it. So sometimes I was involved in creating utilities or some kinds of methods, or I was allocated some kind of work pertaining to selectors. So this is all the manner that you can explain. Okay, so we just discussed this. Mention the name of the framework which you are currently using or which you have hands-on experience. Okay, so answer should be already the organization which I am working for is using that particular framework, or I have an experience on that particular framework, or it is easy to handle all my scripts to execute and generate logs, screenshots, and reports by using XYZ, etc. framework. Okay. Okay, very important question. What type of test cases do you pick up to automate? I focus on the test cases which should be executed in a repetitive manner, such as regression test cases is there, smoke is there, sanity test cases there. So these are all the test cases that should be taken into priority for automation. How to switch over the elements in frames using WebDriver commands. So basically there are three ways. You can use by index, you can use by name or ID, you can also use by web element. So over here I will show you one example by ID, and if it is asked that explain or tell us the code for any one of the option or any one of the way, then you can take any one of the example. And over here using ID we can see, so we can see there is a class that is defined and public static void main. Inside that they have called this Firefox driver. They want to launch into Firefox browser. Driver.get, then this is the URL. Now let's assume that this URL has got some frame. So driver.manage.window.maximize and then driver.switch to .frame, and this is the ID. Okay. How can we handle pop-ups in Selenium? So over here there are various combinations that are available. So it is better if you are able to recall and if you are explaining each and every method to them in a proper manner. So first of all is void dismiss. Let's say if there is some cancel button on the alert, So how you will make WebDriver click on it? So it would be driver.switch2.alert.dismiss. Then is void except. So it is for clicking on the OK button of the alert. Then string get text to capture the alert message. Let's say if you have to validate that the proper alert message has been displayed or not. So what you would go for? You will take driver.switch2.alert.getText. Void send keys is used to send some data to alert box. Okay, we can easily switch to alert from the main window by using Selenium switch to method. Okay, so switch to method is been explained also over here. Using switch to method, it becomes very easy to tackle all these kinds of pop-ups in Selenium. Okay, what are Selenium test life cycle phases? So first is test planning. You will plan what all test from the test suite you have to automate, which test would be good for automation choice. Sorry. Then generating basic tests. So you will start writing test. The basic test means you'll start from scratch. Then you will add some enhancement into the test. Let's say if some particular XYZ test is taking more time to get executed. So what you will do is you will optimize the test. You might add some method or add some utility such that your automation test starts running it faster. Faster execution is happening. Then running and debugging test. Let's say if you are getting some errors or sometimes your tests are getting stuck in between. So to make them execute them end to end, you have to run them first. Then analyzing test results and reporting defects. So you will analyze this is the last stage. You will analyze whether all the test results are expected and you will report the defects if there are not any. Which XPath is good, absolute or relative? Okay, relative XPath is good. Okay, now we are done with the technical questions. So these were the mostly asked, till now in the Wipro technical interview of automation QA. These were the mostly asked interview questions. Now let's have a look at the HR interview questions. Where do you see yourself after 5 years? What is your short term goal? Can you work under pressure? What are your long term goals? What are your most significant weaknesses or strengths? And at the end, why do you want to work at Wipro? Also, what do you know about Wipro? So these are few of the HR interview questions that you can get. So we have seen number of questions over here in this video. Let's revise quickly. Okay, so difference between abstract class and interface. Why do you need weights in Selenium? Then what is the significance of meaning of each and everything over here? Driver dot manage dot timeouts, how methods are calling each other. What are collections in Java? What are throws, and finally keyword in exception handling? What is runtime polymorphism or dynamic method dispatch? Give an example of same. What are constructors in Java? Give an example of same. What is exception hierarchy in Java? And what is error? Subclass called error, which is derived from the throwable class. So what is that? What are the types of test automation framework? Have you created any framework? Mention the name of the framework which you are currently using or which you have hands-on experience. What type of test cases do you pick up to automate? How to switch over the elements in frames using WebDriver commands? And how can we handle pop-ups in Selenium? So we are using switch to alert from the main window by using Selenium's switch to method. What are Selenium test lifecycle phases? Which XPath is good? And at the end, HR interview questions. So we are also in search of other interview questions that are being asked at different companies. So if you are getting any such interview experience, so please share with our channel. It would be helpful to the community. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned for more videos.